The All-Star Weekend.
It was great. It was great to be back, Cece. I missed you.
Don't
Sarah, it's great to work with you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Welcome. The first things first.
Thank you. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Cece. Welcome back. Well, Nick has been gone.
I've been gone.
Try to let her get a
welcome.
We're not talking to you.
I was about to thank you for holding it down last week, and it's wonderful to see you, Sarah. What, Chris?
I did not even make it through the first minute. Last week, Sarah, I did not raise my voice. Nick called me yesterday. Said, "How was last week?" I said, "I did not raise my voice all week."
Like no one was challenging you. It's just Hall of Famer.
It's in the first minute, and I still have to raise my voice because he can't give the proper greeting. So welcome to First Things.
Thank you. I am thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much. And if people don't know Sarah, if you don't live in the Northeast, you're not familiar with the Yes Network, a truly brilliant basketball analyst, and I know that's not the exact role you're playing right now, but you can play a bunch of them, so we're really pleased to have you.
Thank you, Nick.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
An all-star lineup.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys are also, so speaking of All-Star, the new All-Star game format, it seemed to be a smashing success. Team LeBron outlasted Team Stephen 148 to 145 thanks to defense. Yes, actual defense. Rebounds and 8 assists. Here he is on the game's new format.
I think the format was great. I think the fans did a great job of reacting to it in a very positive way. And, for me to be the captain of the team, Steph being the captain of his team, and us doing that, that draft, it was something that hadn't been done before. And the great thing about our commissioner, he's absolutely okay with trying something new, to change the format. And it definitely worked out for everybody.
So LeBron says it worked out. CC, do you think the new format saved the All-Star game?
I think it was very exciting. Now, the All-Star game, the All-Star weekend, which it's grown to, has been entertaining. But the game has kind of been anticlimactic with the three-point shooting, the dunk contest, the rising stars, some of these other things that we enjoy seeing. But now, at the end of it, to me, it is the best All-Star game going collectively because of the number of events and of the legends that you're able to see, the different programming they have surrounding the game. But we like to see competition. And the format, it made it more competitive. You could see early in the game that it was going to be different by the number of fouls that were being called. Like Kevin Durant and LeBron, they were actually playing some defense early. So I do like it because in the end, I believe that the players, and more importantly, the fans, were rewarded with the best basketball players in the world playing in an exhibition all-star game, but it being competitive. You could see their skill level. You could see their love for the game. But, no one wants to see things that aren't competitive, things that kind of are fixed. So I think it was very, very good. For me, it's been a longtime NBA fan. I believe that they got it right. And just listen carefully what LeBron said. They do have a commissioner that is right now, he is willing to tinker with something that has become part of the mainstream as far as sports. The overall popularity of the game is growing. So the commissioner, I like it, Nick, that he is tinkering with it a little bit. But it all starts from the top, the commissioner into who the captains were. And that's what made this a success.
And it wasn't just yes, I think this was a huge success, but it wasn't just the picking of the teams. And Chris, you talk about all the time, athletes say they don't listen, they don't hear the criticism, but they do.
Yes.
These guys knew that the last 2 years, they've been heavily criticized for the All-Star game being not even a glorified scrimmage, just a glorified 5-on-0 on one end, 5-on-0 on the other end. They were sensitive to that criticism. You then add the extra competitiveness of LeBron, the best player in the league, saying, I picked these guys. Steph, the second or third best player in the league, saying, I picked these guys. And the, I would say, additional level of competitiveness of KD and Steph going against each other. Guys that are sometimes on the same team or in All-Star Weekend usually playing together, having to go against each other. And you saw what was a great basketball game, compelling finish. Cece, you'll laugh at me. I, of course, looked at the spread and the over-under for the game. So the over-under before the game was over 300. It was 333. A minute and a half in, the live betting, it had adjusted down 15 points. 15 points a minute in. Not because they're like, oh, it's not pacing to score, but it was obvious to everyone, oh, they're going to play defense. They're going to try on both ends. You saw Durant guarding guys out above the three-point line, and you could tell we were going to get a real basketball game. And whenever Team Steph started to pull ahead, Team LeBron went on a run to keep it close, which allowed us to see that great finish.
Was that predicated on LeBron setting the tone? Do you think it started with him and the mentality that he took entering the game?
Well, I'm just not going to give it to LeBron. It's so easy to give LeBron credit, but Steph on the other side, the buy-in, the communication about the draft. And I'm sure right from the beginning, Steph knew that it was for real because LeBron did the right, he took KD. So that, I mean, they had the 1 and 2 best players in the world versus whoever Steph was going to select. So I think it's a combination of the leadership that we have in the NBA. Steph is responsible. He knows, he's been around the NBA with his dad being an NBA player, that he knows this is very important, and LeBron. So I just think where we are as far as what our superstars think, they thought it was important, and you could see that going into the rest of their teammates.
And Adams, I think LeBron and the other real top-level players, meaning basically just KD and Steph, those are the top 3 most visible and probably 3 best players in the league. They set the tone. But on top of that, what LeBron alluded to is Adam Silver being forward-thinking and allowing the guys to do this. I think there is, unlike what we see in other sports, particularly the NFL at times, where it feels like, whether it's accurate or not, it feels like there's an adversarial relationship between the commissioner and the players.
Yes.
In the NBA, it truly feels like a partnership. And I don't think the players wanted to let Adam Silver down. Like, he gave us this cool thing of the draft. They are embracing it. They added more financial incentives to the winners, and they added the additional charity aspect, which I'm sure was meaningful to these guys.
Yes.
And they embraced the entire weekend. This is that we talk about how on Christmas is when the NBA season starts. That's true to an extent. But All-Star Weekend is when the NBA season takes the attention from the rest of the sports world, because football dominates the conversation up to the Super Bowl and really the week after. And so now this is the key point of when the NBA becomes the dominant discussion point, aside from a few weeks of March Madness, for the next few months. And I think it got off to an outstanding start.
We know there was so much dialogue heading into the game about televising the draft, the decision not to do it this year. But if they change their mind, if Adam Silver says, okay, next year we liked the steps we took this season, next year we're going to televise the draft, how much better do you think it would be?
Well, I think that the players, after the draft was revealed, they started letting the fans know that they would have liked to know what the draft order was. So it's just a matter of they'll get it right. They got this part right. They took a big chance. I'd much rather them get it right and draw it back a little bit compared to just trying to unveil all these different things with the teams, with the captains selecting the teams. But I believe next year they'll add on to that just to enhance the overall experience.
And I think C-Webb, who was a big weekend for him, gets nominated is a finalist for the Basketball Hall of Fame. He mentioned, I think it was him on the broadcast, of a way they can do it, which I think would be great. So Sunday night's the game, obviously. Saturday night's the 3-point and the dunk contest. Friday night, when I think they have the celebrity game, if on Friday night you also had all 24 guys, 24 jerseys for each different team, mid-court, maybe halftime the celebrity game, something like that, and you have Steph and LeBron, or whoever the 2 vote getters are, draft their teams like that with the guys there. Go pick up your jersey like you do basically on street ball. That would be outstanding.
And also that would help out from the injury standpoint, because LeBron, he drafted a lot of guys that end up getting hurt.
Right.
Then you have a more up-to-date roster. But it's also very impressive that LeBron and KD could take even the backups, because the backups of the best players in the world are still the best players in the world. So it was very entertaining.
With that being said, was there any game within the game that you enjoyed seeing LeBron and Kyrie together and Embiid going against Westbrook? Was there any relationships you enjoyed most?
We saw LeBron
Nick
and Kyrie.
is petty like this. I'm sure he has a couple of them.
I'm actually going to do a basketball thing. We saw LeBron and Kyrie laughing about something uproarious. I mean, it was as hard as I've ever seen 2 human beings laugh on the sideline. We saw Russ and KD have a warmer reception together than we'd seen from them in recent times. But what I was most excited about was Joel Embiid out there amongst the best players in the world in the biggest spots in a really competitive game. And Embiid trying to guard guys 25 feet from the basket. Embiid then trying to take advantage of mismatches on the other end. I thought while LeBron's going to get the headlines from this weekend, and justifiably, and in the final play where he and KD stuffed Steph, I thought Joel Embiid, his star, which is already shining brightly, I thought he really excelled on this stage. I was happy to see that.
I think also Durant and LeBron and Steph, it being like it was the NBA compared to East versus the West, that kind of bitterness that people kind of wanted to make with the rivalry was kind of away. We were just looking at the best players in the NBA, and irregardless of East or West, it was about the storylines of the guys that have accomplished the most at the midway break, and it gives us tremendous momentum coming down the stretch, the third of the season. I'm sure that you're looking forward to.
And it was the LeBron and KD, the two best players in the world. They had the Uber thing throughout the week that obviously made the news for other reasons.
Right.
It is cool to see the two best players in the world. I didn't know this. They really have a great relationship.
Yes.
Seeing them together, playing together for the first time, aside from in the Olympics that we've ever seen, was really cool.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time practicing together. Before KD went to Golden State, LeBron spent a lot of time in the offseason with KD, that they have a stronger relationship than the public understands or knows.
Yeah, different perspective. Great to see. All right, coming up, we will take a look at All-Star Weekend again, and if it would sway Paul George's free agency decisions. That's next on First Things First.
Here's what I know. James